Aphrodite, the goddess of love, is said to have been born from the ocean. More specifically, she arose from the foam that bubbled up after Cronus chopped off Uranus's testicles and hurled them into the water. That life-giving foam is my quest objective in a new IGN First exclusive hands-on demonstration of Immortals Fenyx Rising. Although, notably, this PG-13 remix of the Greek mythological universe opts for a giant pearl rather than a severed gonad. Unfortunately, I wasn't allowed to record gameplay of this exclusive demonstration, so forgive us that not everything I describe will be shown on screen. This 2-hour session, which takes place in an entirely different zone to that explored by other press outlets in a previous hands-on, is set in the previously unseen Valley of Eternal Spring, the Verdant region dedicated to Aphrodite. This is the first area following Immortals tutorial, and hero Fenyx is looking to restore the goddess of love who has found herself transformed into a tree by the dastardly Typhon. Thinking back to the conditions of her birth, Aphrodite suggested that the life-giving bubbles of the ocean could bring her back to normal, and so I embarked on a simple but elongated physics puzzle to guide a giant pearl down a mountainside to the coast. The route was dangerous, patrolled by harpies and gorgons, and the pearl itself guarded by a huge cyclops. A previous hands-on had instilled me with confidence about my combat abilities, but I immediately found myself struggling against these beasts. During my tour of the Forge Lands, Fenyx had access to a wide variety of godlike abilities, but at this early stage in the game I had barely any skills at all. Fighting the Cyclops was a scrappy affair. I had to hide behind rocks and ridges on my approach in order to pull off a sneak attack and get some extra damage in on my opening blow, and then play cautious with my strikes, dodges and retreats. Experiencing Immortals' power curve backwards has been an odd experience, but the contrast between the two really demonstrates the sizable journey Ubisoft Quebec has implemented for player development. When Fenyx can leap around and deal a dozen cuts in midair like the Yoda vs Palpatine battle from Star Wars Revenge of the Sith, you really do feel like you've been blessed with mythical superpowers. Without those powers though, Immortals gently funnels you into activities that don't ask so much of your meagre abilities. Aphrodite's area may not be the tutorial zone, but as the region adjacent to the offshore training isle, it's clearly still designed to teach players the street smarts required by the world. I kept away from enemies, which led me into the woods filled with pomegranate trees. I could harvest these and then brew the juice into health potions, which would help keep me alive when I had no choice but to butcher gorgons while rolling the pearl down the mountain. The path the pearl takes is carved into the rock, and so gravity does much of the work, but it still needs a helping hand. Sometimes that's a barrier to break down, sometimes it's enemies to defeat, and the finale is a simple shoot-the-target puzzle that opens a gate through which the pearl tumbles into the waters below. It's not a taxing quest, but I appreciate that it's an extended puzzle rather than a go-here, kill-that checklist. Further core quests in subsequent areas will need to be more challenging to hold my attention, but hopefully the simplicity here is due to this naturally being the first area of the island you visit. The island being freely explorable from the very start does make me wonder exactly how the core quest challenge curve is handled though. That's not to say that the Valley of Eternal Spring is devoid of challenge at all though. There are tasks clearly designed to be tackled after you've explored further and significantly improved Fenyx's powers. One such activity is a major boss fight against a Wraith version of Achilles. Throughout the Isle, Typhon is able to send corrupted versions of Greek heroes to hunt you, akin to the way Assassin's Creed Odyssey's mercenaries would turn up out of the blue. You can never truly defeat them in these random encounters. To do that, you must best them in a tough boss fight that takes place in the underworld. In this second hands-on, I saw a different side to Immortals, one more focused around a core quest. It's a side that I'm less enamoured with compared to the vast array of smart puzzles I discovered in the previous demo, but I think that's mostly down to me not having enough powers to be set fully loose. The greater focus on story did mean I was able to learn more about Fenyx though. They are gleefully obsessed with the Greek myths in the same manner that Marvel's Kamala Khan is obsessed with the Avengers, and this makes for an endearing protagonist. The freeform character creator, which lets you mix and match any of its components to create whatever kind of Fenyx you want, is simple but effective. I made a Fenyx who is essentially Cassandra from Assassin's Creed who's been listening to too much pop punk. But you could make him or her whatever you please within reason. That feeling of doing whatever you please permeates through everything I've played so far, even if the experience feels a touch more restrictive without many powers. If that freedom only grows as Immortals progresses, which, let's face it, its obvious inspiration suggests that it will, then I think Ubisoft Quebec has made something quite exciting. The first true post-Breath of the Wild open world. For more Immortals Fenyx Rising, check out one of these other videos from IGN First, and for everything else, stick with IGN.